Hello everybody, it's Anna here today with another Welsh lesson and some history. We'll do a little bit of both, and today we are at ABERDARON on the LLYN Peninsula on the Wales coast path, not that far from where we were last week at Borddegarst, and this is known as Land's End of North Wales. And we're here today to show you something very special, but first I'm showing you around the beach area and the little village, and there's me, and we're looking towards what is a church, and it's a very special church. There's Alf looking along as well. There was only me and him on the beach that day. This is the village, and like I said, we're here to show you something very special. We're here to show you a medieval pilgrim church that stands above the shore of the Irish Sea at the end of here, the LLYN Peninsula, nestled in the old fishing village of ABERDARON, which is a beautiful place. So yes, come along and join us, you're very welcome. So we're mainly having a history lesson, but I'm going to try and throw in some Welsh words for you, and there we are, croeso, that's welcome in Welsh. So the church that we're talking about, here we are, is St Hywyn's Church, and there's Alf heading up towards it. Let me tell you all about it. So this medieval pilgrim church of St Hywyn's stands above the shore of the Irish Sea at the end of the LLYN Peninsula, nestled in this old fishing village of ABERDARON. And the pilgrim church was established in 516 by Hywyn, a cousin of Cadfan, who built the monastery on the sacred island of Bardsey, which is Enlli in Welsh, 3 miles offshore from ABERDARON, and only the doorway remains from the Norman church, and it is very worn. Not surprising, since the sea is only, well, it's just right there, you can see it. Inside the church is spacious and full of light, reflected off the sea, and you'll see as we go in and look around what it's like. But the fine old timber roofs are from the 16th century building work, and there are the gravestones of Roman presbyters from the 6th century who brought Christianity to this remote corner of Wales, and their age means they probably predate the monastery over on Bardsey Island. And we'll come to those stones. There's 2 big pillars, you'll see them as we talk, but I'll continue telling you about the church. It is a pilgrim place, and they're over there at the bottom on the left, right at the top of the church. This stone church was built in the 11th century as the final resting place for pilgrims. There are these stones of the 5th century monks that we just talked about before. They're fascinating, there they are, and look at that boat. That is the kind that they would have gone over to Bardsey Island on. Anyway, I'm digressing. This stone church was built in the 11th century as the final resting place for pilgrims before crossing the treacherous waters of Bardsey to reach their destination on the sacred island. In the 21st century, it is still a place of refuge, restoration and prayerful peace for the modern pilgrim, like ourselves, and tourists on their own spiritual journeys. They actually have services in Welsh and English, which is lovely, giving visitors an authentic experience of the living Welsh language, which is what I try to teach you a bit about each time we do a video. And look at the old organ there. So like I was saying, some of this church's fabric dates from the 12th century, when the King of Gwynedd replaced many wooden churches, like was here before from the 5th century. It was replaced in the 12th century by the King of Gwynedd, when he replaced many wooden churches with sturdy stone structures like here today, this one. And going back to when there was a class here from the 5th century, an institution of the Celtic church similar to a monastery but without allegiance to any monastic order. But this church, St Hywyn's Church, was enlarged in the 14th and 15th centuries and needed restoration in the 19th century and 1906 after long neglect. In the 1990s, new sea defences were installed to prevent the church being undermined. So it's because the church's proximity to the sea underlines its relationship with Bardsey, that's YNYS ENLLI in Welsh, the island to the west. And the St Hywyn Cadfan and Lleidaid travelled from Brittany to Aberdaron in the 6th century. Hywyn stayed put, preaching to the local residents from his basic wooden cell. St Cadfan crossed the water to Bardsey, where he set up a religious house which became a major destination for pilgrims, and legend has it that 20,000 saints are buried on the island of Bardsey, and records show that the churches at Aberdaron and on Bardsey remained intimately connected in the 15th century. And it was then that its importance was as an embarkation point for the Abbey on Bardsey Island, which became a real significant site of pilgrimage in the Middle Ages. Sadly, the Reformation saw the church's decline, and by the 19th century it was a ruin. And a new church was built inland, but it was so unpopular that by 1868 the original church had been restored and brought back into use. Further restorations took place in the 19th and 20th centuries, and the church now is known as the Cathedral of LLYN, and to this day remains an active church where you can get bilingual services. And that's the story of this very old medieval church. So for just another few minutes we'll go around the village and area and see what little bit of Welsh we can learn. Don't forget to see in Welsh is more, church is eglwys, path is llwybr, grass is glaswellt, sky is awyr. So let's wait to see some more things that we can learn. Door is drws. House is tea and houses is tie. There's Alf walking. Croeso I Aberdaron, that's welcome to Aberdaron. Car is car. Road is ffordd. Sky is awyr. And now we are heading up onto the Wales coast path, and we'll continue there next time. We're taking you around the cliff tops. Don't forget, Wales coast path in Welsh is Llwybr Arfordir Cymru, and that's where we'll be going next time, to somewhere else. So we'll say ta-ta for now, and we'll see you on the next adventure or the next Welsh lesson. Hope you've enjoyed a little bit of Welsh history and Welsh language today, and we'll say ta-ta for now, and we'll see you soon. Nos da.